What's up, amigos? As a classic car owner and lover, I want to create this video to give some people some insights into owning a classic car. There's a lot of things we need to know, pros and cons and all that stuff. Owning a classic car is great, don't get me wrong. The designs, those lines, the sound of the engine, it's like music. To the small things is like shutting the door and hearing that metallic clunk. It's just another beautiful sound. It's also a good way to, meet a lot of people in car festivals or gatherings, meetups, whatever. And you're not meeting people that have the same likes, that you become good friends with, you appreciate their cars, they appreciate your cars. So it's a great way of socializing. So yeah, let's start with the pros. Number one, it's, like I said, a good way of socializing. It's like you feel part of a community, you meet people, there's Facebook groups, there's like lots of social media stuff nowadays, but there's also physical meetups, which is great. So that is instantly a thing that you feel part of, and it's like it's a hobby in a way. So it's a good feeling. You feel like you own a part of history, and I like that. Another great pro is they, more often than not, worth a lot more. Usually classic cars, they're nothing like the today's cars. Prices just go one way, which is down. Most classic cars, prices usually appreciate. And if you buy one really cheap that needs some work and you do that work yourself, which you can, and it's another pro, I do a lot of work on mine. And just by watching videos here on YouTube by guys that are always doing that sort of work, and gladly, and I'm grateful they film it. Parts, a good thing about parts is you can get from donor cars. You can buy parts from cars that broke down, and you can steal some of those parts from it. So they usually, depends on the car, a little bit cheaper than buying new or sourcing in new, that sometimes is really hard to get. Another pro that I really love is really good props. I use them for a lot of my photo shoots, and they are beautiful things to look at. Even, car shows, you just like there and people photographing your car as well. They're really good fun props. Also, a lot of these classic cars, the insurance, it can be cheap. Road tax can also be cheap. Depends where you are in the world. Alright, let's talk about some of the cons. Alright, one of them straight away is they're not as eco-friendly as today cars. Their emissions are a lot higher. So that's one thing. Another con, there's a lot more maintenance. So being an older car, a lot more oil leaks, oil changes, brakes. I mean, there's always something going on with an older car, so be prepared to, drive it for a bit, and there's always something to do. I actually have a funny story about that. I'll tell you at the end. was funny and now, but wasn't funny at the time. Something happened to me while I was driving. Another con, they're also less safe. Back when, I think late 90s were when most of the safeties were actually introduced by, you had to have these things in the car, even though they have been produced before in some cars and all that. But I think by the late 90s is when safety really got tightened and cars started having more safety stuff. So definitely, a lot of them don't have like ABS brakes or discs or whatever brakes. They very different. In a lot of places, you have a lot of driving restrictions. You can't have these cars in a lot of places in towns, like for example, you can't go to the city center and stuff like that, and so on, so on. And they're not as comfortable, man. There's like some of them don't have aircon, or they eat the heater system is not very good, or sometimes they're far too hot. Mine sometimes get really hot inside. I mean, I have everything turned off and it still gets really hot inside. So and they don't have all the gadgets, like, you know. And also, usually people have been sat on them for so long that the cushion, it's, instead of being soft, it's hard. So yeah, they're not as comfortable. You get the picture. Another thing is, they usually need to be kept in a garage, so you need the space for it. Classic cars are not very good at staying out in the rain or ice or snow or sun. It all depends on the models, but most of the cars need to be in a dry environment with a humidifier. So you need a space, and if you don't have a garage, you have to pay for storage. Storage costs money, so that's another con there. So enough the cons, I'm going to tell you a little story. If you own a classic car, be prepared. You can spend a bit of money on it, but if one day you decide to sell it, you could make all that back and a little bit more. Now, the little story I wanted to tell you is I was driving my 993, and as an old car happens, so I was driving and there are cars in front of me, and all of a sudden I had to use my brake, and as I was braking, my car started beeping, like the horn started beeping. And this guy in front of me, he opened his window and started flipping me. Every time I would brake, the car would beep. Oh man, it was like proper crazy. And then I had to keep my foot on the brake and the car was just beeping. The guy got out of the car in the middle of the road, comes, and he was gonna hit me. I just said, dude, look, my car, there's something just happened. Every time I step on the brake, it beeps. Check this out. And he was like, oh, you need to sort that out. It's annoying. I thought he was just beeping at me for no reason. I was like, why would I do that? Anyway, I had to go drive straight to my mechanic, which fortunately wasn't too far. And we took the fuse out and ordered a new plate that goes inside the steering wheel. That had some of these springs, they were gone. That's why I kept doing that. But that was crazy. There's more to that story, like going in other people's every time I stepped on a brake. But anyway, it's funny now, but it wasn't funny back then. I thought the guy was going to hit me. Yeah, guys, I hope you find this video useful, and stay cool.
Whoever knew sweat could smell so good? I did, because I've been using Beardbrand's new deodorant. Grab it at beardbrand.com.